Thank you for joining me for this Imbloc rune reading. The rune that I selected, with my eyes closed of course, was answers or answer, and it fell in the reversed position. And the way I read the 24 runes, the majority of them can be read as they fall in 4 different possible ways. And there are a couple that can only be read in 2 ways. But I always work with them this way. And sometimes when people look at this, they think reversed. Oh no, this is not very good. But it's just a different meaning. That's how I prefer to look at it. But just to explain, in case people looking at this don't know what Imbloc is, although I expect most do, there is the pagan wheel of the year, which really fits very closely with the agricultural wheel of the year as it would be in the British Isles. And Imbloc is the 1st of February. It is the time of lambing. There is the traditions that go with that, with the flowing forth of the first milk from the ewes to the newborn lambs. There is also the beginnings of spring that may not yet be seen, although in the far southwest of the UK they are. Further north and around Europe, the northern parts of Europe, of course they are not. But changes are happening. We at least see the returning of the daylight, and the daylight increasing markedly with each day that passes by is a sure reminder that we are, in the phase that is leading towards the spring equinox. We can see that every day. So the time that I'm reading for is from Imbloc to the spring equinox, from the 1st of February to the 21st of March. And this reading was published yesterday. And I drew this rune, and I'm going to work with it with the theme of Imbloc in mind, but it's a generalized reading and very much looking at life from the perspective of what a lot of people, rather than a few, are experiencing at this time. And the big theme that I felt was the thing that we needed answers to was the issue of what seems to be escalating chaos. And, I don't want to concern anybody, but I do feel that particularly between, now and the 20th of February, we're going to see more places in the world which seem to be very chaotic, very confused. A lot of this is political, but not all of it is political. I feel that things that have been simmering beneath the surface are coming up more and more. Issues that are coming out into the open are part of this confusion, in the same way that those green shoots that are beginning beneath the earth that we can't see yet will make their presence felt. But also I feel that the chaos extends perhaps slightly more than usual to weather patterns, although there are always some chaotic weather patterns and storms and things. Of course there are, but maybe there will be some in unexpected places or slightly more than usual. So what is the message of this rune? The key message is to look up for answers, to look for inspiration. Never more so than we're in a situation where we think, oh no, not again, not some, problem kicking off somewhere else, not some further cause of what seems to be instability in the world around us, but that is precisely the time when we need to look for that inspiration, and also to look at the different ideas that can be developed, ideas sometimes that might seem radical, ideas that might just seem different, other ideas that we might say, why ever didn't we come up with that, in an earlier time? And this is not so much for individuals, it's collectively. And I feel that there will be many groups, some very small, some much larger, that kind of galvanize around responses and ideas during this time period, but particularly in the time period after the 14th of February, maybe even after the 20th of February. I feel that as February goes on, it's a little bit like a crescendo in a process is building, and we wonder what is going to become chaotic next, or what is going to seem to be breaking down. And I say seem to be breaking down, but sometimes structures need to break down so that in the same way that the winter has to give way to spring. So these processes, when we look at them, we might feel, that there's so much chaos going on in different parts of the world that we wonder, what on earth is it all coming to, really? But there is hope. There's a lot of hope on the horizon, provided we maintain our willingness to look for answers, our willingness to respond to inspiration. And I am sure that people will. I am sure there are people that will be listening, that will be hearing, that will be responding to what is going on. And it might not always be exactly the solution that we would want. And some solutions that are put forward, some ideas in different places, people absolutely won't want. But that will then lead them in a direction where something better can be born, where something better can be developed. And that really is the message within Answers in this position, is never think that it's impossible. Always think that it is possible. And when you see a glimmer, when a glimmer of something different, something new is seen, explore it to the utmost, because you never know where it might lead. And all ideas, and all possibilities, and all inspirations have the capacity to lead somewhere. And it's important to remember this in these coming weeks, because it keeps us afloat as individuals. And who knows when something that we think, we feel, or we share touches off something in somebody else, touches off something that might in the end be part of something bigger. We just don't know. So allowing ourselves to be open to new possibilities, to look beyond the chaos, to the newness that wants to be born, to look beyond some of the things that seem very harsh, to find the softness that yearns to come into existence. These are all important at these times. These are all part of the message of Answers. And another message of Answers, answer, however you want to pronounce it, is of the bridge between heaven and earth, between the realm of the gods and the mundane world, and the answers that are hovering out there in the ethers of life, that are waiting for us to grab hold of them and pull them down to earth and to make something of them, because there is much potential waiting to be born. And sometimes it is good to remember that when things seem to be breaking down, or are breaking down in certain areas, then that is opening doorways or paving the way for something new and different, something that is more fitting for the times in which we live. Because without the letting go of some of the things that we cling on to as individuals, communities, and societies, it is not always so easy for that which needs to happen to come into existence. And if we look at life this way, we are more open to seeing those seeds of potential and even aspiring to something new and different creates a force, an energy, and a new potential. Thank you for joining me for this reading.